It's the foreheads. The bow. And oh shit! How does the intro? We're talking about AI. It's the foreheads. Ba. And we're talking about AI.
That's a disaster. That's a disaster.
Well, 3, 2, 1. Welcome back, everyone, to the greatest disaster on the internet. It's Foreheads Podcast. I'm Goldenboy alongside Bren, Sideshow, and Reinforce. And we're going to talk about stuff that doesn't matter, but we're recording this episode because Bren put in our group chat, I went outside and I have stuff to talk about. So that is the theme of our episode today.
I just want to start by saying that it's isn't it quite ironic that we stopped doing the foreheads when the pandemic was heating up, and that's when pandemics had never become more popular, where sales of SM7Bs was sold out and everyone and their mum wanted to do a podcast.
Yeah, but because then you guys got really busy with all of your other shit, and then that's why we stopped.
No. We stopped because life was boring as fuck. I mean, It was just, hey, you want to do a comedy podcast about how your life is just walking around in your own room for 12 hours a day? And I would ring my mum and she'd say, oh, hey, have you done anything interesting? And I'd say, no, I just did more work. And that was it. That was the end of the conversation. That's not good meat for the podcast.
You don't think that the four of us could have fit like a few hour episodes during the pandemic? You don't think that we could have done that?
Did you do anything more interesting than me?
Did I do anything more interesting than you?
Yeah, during the pandemic, did you do... Oh, I mean, the thing's bloody ongoing still, but during the peak of lockdown, did you do anything more interesting than sitting in your room playing or watching video games?
I did a commercial with The Rock. No,
more interesting than playing video games. More.
But I just said it.
Okay, all right, one fucking thing, man.
We could have done an episode. I mean, not really.
No,
it wasn't like that interesting, to be fair.
The only takeaway from this is that you guys are fucking boring.
Oh, like, honestly, what did you do?
Come on. No, I mean, I could conjure up fun. I could conjure up comedy. Like,
well, you clearly can't conjure up a clean room because that shit, it looks like a disaster back there.
What the fuck is that kind of straw, man? Just because my room is dirty, I can't entertain people for an hour a week?
No, you see, the weird thing is, Jonathan actually did do more than all of us, I think, because I've been getting tidbits of what Johnny's been up to during quarantine, and it's been a large amount. Like, for example, sourdough has spontaneously erupted within his kitchen, apparently, along with probably a range of other stuff. You've been becoming a house husband.
5-month period in 2020, I was playing WoW like 12 hours a day. So you're right, nothing happened in that span. But then 2021 has been different.
You're Grand Marshal.
Yeah. Oh my God.
What does that mean? What does that mean?
It just means that you play World of Warcraft for an unhealthy amount for like 2-3 months.
No, does that mean like you're a leader or something? Like a guild leader?
You get the highest rank in classic World of Warcraft. But it's not based on like skill or like competing against others. It's all about how much effort you put in. And so you have to be like the one who plays the most on your server. And I don't want to talk about this for the fucking first episode.
No, but that's interesting though.
But like for an example, the worst day of the grind was like when you go from rank 13 to 14. 14 is the last one. So it's when you have to play the most, right? Because you have to beat everyone else. You have to be number one.
Can we put the podcast on pause? I got to pick up my beers.
I don't.
No.
Well, I don't.
No, we're gonna keep going.
I'm just gonna finish this.
Ignore it.
So it was actually the Overwatch League Grand Finals, and I had to play WoW at the time. But obviously, I can't play WoW and do work at the same time because that was brutal. So my schedule, that hellish 36 hours, was I woke up at like 1 p.m. because we had the night schedule, right? We're doing the APAC
because the finals
because the teams were in Korea, yeah. So I woke up at like 1 or 2 p.m. from like 6 hours sleep. Then I would play WoW, just the same battlegrounds over and over again for 12 to 13 hours until like 2 a.m. We would do rehearsal and then do the Overwatch League Grand Finals. And we'd be done at like 7 or 8 a.m. and then I would stay up 12 hours longer and just play World of Warcraft until like 8 or 9 p.m. And then I was done for the week.
I mean, that is just truly awful.
But at that point, I'm like so invested. I mean, I've been playing it like 2-3 months at that time. And I'm like, this is like the second to last week. And I had to do it. Like there was no other option. Like I had to
what
be
if
able
you,
to
what if you did it?
it.
What if you just stopped?
I would have been set back a week and had to play for another week. Because if you don't like reach a certain like so every rank, like 1 to 14, there's a certain number you have to hit to continuously like, you know, go up. Yeah. And so to hit that number that week, I had to do that. Like because I was working so much that week, because we did all the playoffs games leading up to it. Like because I was playing working so much, I had to compensate by playing more and sleeping less just to hit the quota. Anyway, it was hell.
It's incredible that if they put a fancy name on something, people will ruin their lives to get the fancy name.
It was not about the name. It was entirely about the social experiment of actually doing it. So, I mean, when I grew up, it was like, holy shit, like that's the coolest fucking thing ever. So I actually kept a journal, and every day I would write down my mental health, my mood, my thoughts, you know, keeping the goal in mind, just because I was really curious, like how it would affect you. Like as a human being, just like playing the same game, you know, for such extended amounts of time. And the biggest issue I actually dealt with during that time, just playing WoW 14, 16 hours a day, sometimes 20, 22, like 2-3 times a week, was honestly FOMO, like not being able to play with my friends. Because I remember the Valorant co-streams were popping off at the time with Sideshow and Wyatt and Bren. And every fucking day, it was like, oh, was it VCT1? Or something like November, October or something?
Yeah, no, that was First Strike.
First Strike.
Oh, it was First Strike, yeah.
Yeah.
And I couldn't like hang out with you guys. Or like I tried to, you know, a little bit, but I wasn't active in the conversation. But the biggest issue was just like FOMO. Like I was just by myself 16 hours a day and I couldn't talk to my friends and I couldn't like play games with them. They were like, oh, we're going to play Valorant, Johnny, you want in? And I was like, no, I can't. Like I actually can't if I want to fulfill this goal. So there were a lot of like interesting psychosocial takeaways from that experiment. So I'm happy I did it, but it was hellish. Especially
I got myself. I didn't realize it was going to be this big.
We're done.
His dick just jumps in with his pink hoodie, talking about his alcohol. What do you get?
Were you talking about? WoW?
No, I just finished my thought. Yes.
No, we actually just solved the meaning of life.
Anyway,
while you were away.
I'm gonna post those entries at some point. I think it's really interesting.
Please do. So. That actually sounds interesting. I'm down with that.
Yeah,
entries?
Yeah, you missed it. You'll just have to catch it when Johnny posts it on Twitch, on twitter.com/reinforce.
I've been enjoying WoW recently. Classic WoW, at least.
See, okay, so to follow up on that point, actually, I think the reason the Foreheads podcast came back is because Bren has run out of things to do. And so he's like gone down the list of priority. And so he tried WoW yesterday for like a day or so. And it was like, oh, I really sunk to WoW. And then it was like, what's the next on the list? Oh, it's the Foreheads. It's the Foreheads comes after WoW on the priority list.
That's good logic, but that's not the reasoning. I know the actual reasoning for it is, one, like I said, I've been going outside, so I actually have some like real life anecdotes to draw from.
Yeah, that's fair.
Talk about. But the big one is I realized that the Foreheads was like the glue holding our parasocial relationships together.
But whoa. We don't have parasocial relationships.
What's a parasocial relationship? I just said it without realizing what it means.
A parasocial relationship is what you have with your Twitch chat, where it's a one-sided social relationship. Unless you're saying that parasocial relationships exist with you because you can't be asked putting in the effort to get the fucking band back
that's
together.
not what I'm saying.
No, I found it. A parasocial interaction refers to a kind of psychological relationship experienced by an audience in their meditated encounters with performers in the mass media, particularly on television. Well, I just found the internet excuse.
George just said.
I don't trust that fucker. No, I went to the internet.
The second reason was because I realized that we don't really talk to each other that much, and especially now that we've all moved. We moved away from you, Goldenboy, because we don't want to associate with you really. That much.
Figured as much. Yeah.
But yeah, I figured it would be good because I mean that's the reason I do the Foreheads. It's not for the other people as much as people were like, "Where's the Foreheads? Where's the episodes?" Yeah, don't give a fuck about you. No, I'm joking. I do.
Well, I care about our audience.
I care about everybody who's watching. I'm joking. I was like, I figured, how do I say it? And I
do I tell the people the truth?
It's
And
not
then
the truth.
At the end of the day, you did.
I actually think our Foreheads community is one of the better communities on the internet.
It doesn't exist. It doesn't exist. We've abandoned them. They've starved to death.
But what are they gonna do when we upload an episode?
They are wandering the wilderness for 40 days, and for well, it was supposed to be 40 days. It's turned into 40 years, and now we've come along with a sprinkling of manna from heaven, and then they're just gonna gobble this up and die out again as we don't give them another episode. That's what's gonna happen.
Yeah.
Well, then why don't we just give them another episode?
Oh, because manna from heaven is expensive and time-consuming.
Fuck your manna, okay?
Easy to get my sushi.
I think it becomes because here's the thing: I'm still ramping up my outside interactions, so I don't have a lot of ammunition to be spunking out every week. You know what I mean?
There's always going to be something to talk about, man.
I wanted to take a sec to look at the things we were talking about the last time we did a Foreheads podcast. First of all, can science make dog humans? Don't know what that was. Literally no idea what that topic was. Not a clue.
Who wrote that?
I bet 100% it was Bren. 100% it was Bren.
That was me.
Then Fall Guys and Among Us take over. Can you imagine? Can you imagine the last time we did the Foreheads was before Fall Guys and Among Us were just dominated? Or I mean, Fall Guys dropped off so fast, but people are still doing just Among Us content constantly.
No, I would say
YouTube.
like Among Us definitely like fell off. You know,
the people are still doing a lot of it, aren't they? I see
but
Courage and
it's like the
Pokemon and
famous
stuff doing it
people
all the time.
It's the famous people. It's because they could do it, but like the usual common person, a common streamer like myself, I can't get away with doing Among Us.
Sure.
It's a bad game. It's a fucking shit game.
It's not a bad game. It's just overplayed. I think once you start once people learn it too much and metagame it, then it becomes a bad game.
Well, yeah, when you metagame it, but
I
but how is it a
experienced
bad game?
the worst of it.
Which
I don't know the tournament. I don't know if I talked about the tournament last time. Or
of course you hadn't talked about the tournament last time. We barely knew what fucking Among Us was last time. We were like children taking our first steps into internet
I can't remember
history.
if we talked about it. But
There's no chance, man.
What tournament you played in?
I played in an Among Us tournament with XQC and a bunch of other high-level streamers.
Oh, that was your first problem.
It's the worst fucking experience of my life. Like, actually the worst experience.
It can't be the worst experience of your life.
It's not the worst experience of my life. I mean, the fish story is up there, but it was definitely like, it was definitely one of the worst aspects of like since I started streaming. You know, like a decision related to streaming because it was just fucking horrible. Like you had, they metagamed the shit out of it, but also the biggest streamers, aka XQC, or like the ones who people aren't going to be like basically telling them to settle down, were just dominating the conversation and like shouting all the time because it's what their audience likes. So for me, and for like, I think there may have been other smaller streamers there as well. You basically just can't play the game. You basically you're just playing it. And I'm telling you, like I actually get fucking triggered in my mind with the Among Us sounds.
Really?
Yes. When I hear the Among Us sounds,
what are some of the Among Us sounds?
It makes me cringe. It makes me cringe.
But it's a pretty bad sound to it.
It makes me feel. That's the sound. No, it's like. It's like that shit. But like whenever I see TikToks with the fucking Among Us sound, it like triggers like painful parts of my brain. You know, like the Pavlovian response, where people get like. I'm not gonna compare it to like PTSD because it's not on that same fucking level really. But it is definitely like. I hear the Among Us sounds, I get a negative response because that tournament brought me a lot of despair. The fucking
is it like when you hear an alarm signal that you've used for too long and you're like, oh fuck, that's my alarm signal.
Well, it's slightly worse because that tournament contributed to a decent amount of anxiety at the time, like as well to get serious for a moment as well. It did contribute to some like fucked up shit, like where I was like, oh, I don't know if I want to stream anymore because there was instances in the tournament where like if I was the imposter alongside XQC or some shit, I don't play Among Us very often. I'm fucking wank at it, but I fuck up and suddenly 2,000 frogs just come into my chat and just start fucking rinsing me for like my performance in Among Us. And
really?
and at the same time, I've got like XQC just fucking going crazy.
That sounds like his streams.
like towards me and other shit. Yeah, I won't even touch the game now. I don't want to touch it.
Okay.
Yeah.
Cool.
So
I'm interested what Goldenboy and Sideshow would have done there, because I was in my WoW grind, so I couldn't. But I would have almost liked to participate just to like double down on it and like do what they did, but like shits and giggles kind of way. I would have
like
I would have just liked to like yell and just like say dumb shit, because like my Rascal rant, but times 10.
I turned off the
Among
chat.
Us?
I mean, I did the same tournament as Bren did, but I just turned the chat off because I mean, you're not supposed to look at your chat anyway because they'll like tell you spoil shit for you when you're actually in the game. So I assume Bren was looking at it in between games or something. I just turned it off the whole time.
The imposter.
I just turned it off the whole time, and I was just playing the game, and I wasn't enjoying it, but I was playing the game. And then
who organized the tournament? Who organized it?
Oh, I can't remember who it was, but they keep asking me.
Rivals?
No. It's some other company, but they keep asking me whether I want to. They asked me recently whether I wanted to cast it as well, and instead, Bala ended up casting that tournament. The guy.
That was the Annihilator Cup.
Sure, if you say so.
Yeah. That was one I was hosting, the AT&T thing.
Oh, you were hosting it as well?
Yeah. I did that because it was like 5 weeks of 5 different games. And Among Us was, for some reason, like, here's the track of games that we played on a competitive level. And let's see if you could spot the difference. First game, Apex Legends. That's fair.
All right.
Second game, Counter-Strike. All right. It's pretty legit. Third game, Mortal Kombat. Yeah.
Okay.
Right. Fourth game, Halo 3. Quality game. Well, right?
No, that's the odd one out, right?
Fuck you. And then fifth game, Among Us. So Among Us was the game that decided who won the entirety. It was like a $250,000 prize pool, and Among Us decided who won, and Jake and Bake won.
Okay, congratulations.
So it sounds like an ultimate
really
gamer kind of thing.
Yeah, it was like that, but without the drama. Oh, actually, there was some drama. Because like one guy decided in Mortal Kombat to play Shiva and do the same move over and over again, and he knocked out Shroud that way. I'm pretty sure.
Whoa.
So then, obviously, because
I cannot explain how little I care about streamer drama.
Oh, well, yeah, I don't care about streamer drama either. I'm just expressing to you that was the only thing because he said Ultimate Gamer. Yeah, you guys are Zoomers. You don't remember.
No,
there was a thing called WCG Ultimate Gamer back in the day. It was a reality show that Rachel was on.
Is that like the one that Mr. X was on as well? He was on some shit when they were in a desert or something.
He was on the Controller, I think it was called.
Right.
But Rachel was on WCG's Ultimate Gamer. And ask her if she likes Pac-Man. If you ever talk to her again. The response will be amazing. I look forward to it.
Okay.
Pac-Man. Yeah.
Ultimate Gamer and Pac-Man.
Who doesn't like Pac-Man? It's just
it eliminated her from the tournament.
Oh, I see.
Because she didn't know how to play Pac-Man.
Well, isn't Pac-Man? I feel like it's one of those things you like figure out the ghosts and then you just easy win all the time.
I don't know if it was that she didn't know how to play. It was just she couldn't, the high score. She just wasn't racking up the points faster than everyone else was.
Fair enough.
So, and then she got eliminated. And then ever since then, she just says, like, fuck Pac-Man. I was like, well.
It's a bit like me with Among Us. Is there a way to have a dark mode on Google Documents?
I don't think so.
I don't believe
there
so.
are some add-ons on Google Chrome, I think.
Why do you look like? Why are you the way you are? That's a great segue.
I don't like the way my hair looks on camera, so I put my hood up.
You look a lot better like that.
I mean,
that is the shape of your head.
This is my headphones.
No,
you look like E.T. You look like a little bright pink E.T.
Just pale, just more pale.
Yeah.
Oh God, what do you got? A Pabst Blue Ribbon?
Yeah, I got a.
Wow.
I actually do have a story to tell you. Actually,
go for
All right, please.
Because one of the things that I put on the Foreheads document 7 months ago was Bren contemplates getting a tattoo.
Oh.
And I've made progress with that. Not
Did you get a tattoo?
Not in terms of getting a
He's
tattoo.
giving himself a prison tattoo.
So you didn't make progress.
No, I have. Listen, I'm explaining how I've made progress to this.
God.
Because getting a tattoo is a big process. You're marking your body permanently. So it's something you want to be quite sure of. Yeah. For me, it's a big thing. Other people, I mean, getting a tattoo isn't a big deal, but for me, I'm like, if I want something, I want it to be good. I want to enjoy it. And I've been doing I've been following some tattoo artists and stuff, and I've come across one guy who I can't remember who recommended me to look at it, but like I'm a big fan of like traditional Japanese art and traditional Japanese tattoos and that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
Why did you say, oh boy?
Because you're a fucking weeb, bro.
I am. I'm a huge weeb. I am.
That's just true.
But the tattoos aren't like anime and stuff. Let me find the Instagram.
No, you're just doing Japanese handwriting and stuff.
No. It is like
all right.
It is like fucking. This is a bit not safe for work.
Or is it like the waves? Is it the waves?
I'm gonna show you.
Are you worried about your monetization on YouTube?
Well, do we care if there's like a blurred out ass crack?
No.
I mean, if there's naked yoga on YouTube, then I don't think we should really care.
Wait, blurred out ass
There's
crack?
naked yoga on YouTube.
Are you unaware of this, Bren?
Sideshow taught me.
Sideshow taught me. That's like the meme of like, look what Sideshow taught me. It's like a little Pepe with a pill next to him.
That's an ass crack.
Can't just use the excuse of I taught you this was going on. This is a widespread known phenomenon.
I think Josh, you should like cut the crack, maybe.
Doesn't matter.
I don't think it matters, mate. You can't really see his crack and his gooch, so I think we're.
I'm fucking about to eat sushi.
I think we're relatively good.
There's other artwork on there that you can look it up, but it's like.
Why do they have a picture zooming in on his ass though? I'm sorry, it's just really bothering me.
So he does these big pieces with traditional Japanese art.
Oh yeah, that one's a bit much, isn't it? The zoom in on the butt.
It's very
So is that what you want to do, Bren? Do you want to get a full back and ass crack tattoo?
No. I want a sleeve. I want to get a sleeve.
So in what? So is this inspiration in terms of the artistic design?
Yes,
rather
I'm just showing you the art,
right?
Not the.
Right.
But like there are people who got sleeves as well.
You're showing us the arse, not the art.
Yeah, sure. Let me try and find like better examples.
You mean to tell me you just couldn't look and then find the one guy who has the sleeves onto his chest?
A lot of it is like.
But you had to find the guy whose ass crack was showing. Like
a lot of it's in progress stuff, and a lot of the work he's showing, he does like these full body suits kind of shit, where like that's, I mean, it's incredible detail and like color work and other shit.
I'm not gonna lie to you guys, I don't like that stuff. Like it doesn't
tattoos
look
in general
appealing.
Or
no,
sleeves?
I don't mind tattoos, but tattoo sleeves or especially stuff like that just doesn't feel. I don't know, something about it. I don't want to say disgusts me because that's the wrong word.
Jesus, that's intense.
But no, because it doesn't disgust me. It just makes me feel uncomfortable. That when I see it, I feel woozy.
It has to be
woozy.
Yeah.
What do you mean? Okay, we'll take a look at this one. What is this? Because I quite like this. I like the contrast of the colors and the details that's put into it. I think this is a really, really cool piece.
Yeah, so that's like okay.
You just don't like tattoos, is what you're trying to say.
I have one.
Sorry,
tattoo.
I put it in the doc as well.
Tattoo right here.
That doesn't count.
How does that counts? It's a tattoo.
No, I'm gatekeeping tattoos.
Your shit hurt. But I mean that. Yeah, I mean that's cool, you know. Like it's not like okay, because you know I don't know a lot of people that have tattoos and like that, right? That have those types of tattoos. So like I don't know what it is. I guess seeing it displayed feels really uneasy to me. Whereas like if I just saw someone going about their daily lives, it wouldn't phase me. I wouldn't even like.
Are you
notice
perhaps made woozy by a butt? Is it not the tattoo? It's actually the butt.
It could have been. It could have been that there was like a tattoo on his ass crack. I think that actually, like, you shouldn't have started with that.
Well, okay. Well, I've sent you the link of like the sleeves
because now I can't not look at his ass crack. And then also there's this idea that he got his tattoo butt ass naked, holding his twig and berries while he's getting just drawn on. Just really something about it is just disturbing.
But okay, but I haven't even got started with this. But I've just started with me finding the artist that I like.
Okay.
This guy. Okay, I like a lot of his work. And he lives in Austin. This guy, he lives in Austin. So I was like, okay, well, that's one stage of it. But I was looking online to see if there's like a website where you can see shit, and he doesn't really have a presence on the internet. And so I was doing a bit more digging, and I found out that this guy just his sole passion in life is tattooing. It's the only thing he wants to do. It's the only thing he does do is draw, tattoo, mainly tattooing though. And if he didn't have people trying to put his shit out on the internet, he would just be tattooing nonstop, really. And
but he'd be happy. He'd be happy.
I mean, he is quite happy. But this is the context you need now, because I rang them. I sent an email saying, "Hey, I'm looking to get my first tattoo. It'll be a full sleeve. I really like your work. I want to get traditional Japanese sleeve done. Can I get put on a waiting list or whatever?" And I got emailed saying, the thing that gave me whiplash was it was like a straight up cold dunk into the tattoo scene, because they're not like typical businesses. Like when you get to a certain level in tattooing, it's like people will travel thousands of miles to get tattooed by you, and then that puts us an element of like, there's no professionalism.
It's like Google Maps review.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like there's no professionalism, because it doesn't need to be, because people will come to you because you're so good at what you do. And so I emailed the guy. Was like, "Oh yeah, we're fully booked up this year, but if you put a deposit down, maybe next year, we can get you in as well. Or you can call me for more information." And he sent me a number, and I was like, okay. So I called them, and he opens up with he's just literally on the phone, and he's like, "Where's my phone thing? Actually, hold on, which one is it? No, hold on. Do I have a
You're
thingy?
trying to play a sound effect.
Do I have a phone one? Yeah, here we go." Well, I was gonna like play into it with the guy.
All right, come on then.
I was like, I call him like, "Oh, hello," or not even. I didn't even say hello. I just like called and waited, and he was like, "Yeah." And I was like, "Hello," and he was like, "Yeah, what's up?" I was like, well, I'm looking to get I was like already taken aback by this, and I was like, "Well, I'm looking to get a sleeve. I sent an email the other day, blah 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 blah." And he's like, "Oh, okay, yeah, I remember your email. What kind of what you trying to get?" I'm like, "Well, a sleeve, like a sleeve," and he's like, "Yeah, but what exactly? Like, what are you trying to get?" I'm like, "Well, okay, traditional Japanese sleeve." I thought I was talking to the guy, Chris, but I was actually talking to. I found out later on, like some guy who is essentially. I'm not even going to call him his assistant. I think it is literally a guy who is friends with him and realizes that if he didn't take calls and emails and upload on his Instagram, he'd just be in his own world, just tattooing, just not nonstop. And so I'm calling the guy, and he's like, "Yeah, so you can stop by the shop if you want and like talk to him." I'm like, "Okay, all right, that sounds good." And he's like, "Oh, but make sure you come after 4 p.m. After 4 p.m. I was like, "Okay." He's like, yeah, after 4 p.m. Because Chris likes to do his thing, He likes to, do his thing. And you'll be talking to him, he'll be working, but don't worry, he does that with everyone. He just doesn't stop working. He's just gonna be tattooing. But just come by, give us a call. Oh, and the front door doesn't work. The front door, we blocked up the front door. So if you want to park up, like there's parking down the street or something or whatever, but just like come out the back and give us a call. And we'll let you in, and you can just chat with Chris. Yeah, you can flip through some books and see what you like. I was like, "Oh, okay, yeah, that sounds good. It sounds good." And he's like, "Oh, but if you come in June or July, I gave him some time off. Like I forced him to take like time off. So some random days, we don't know what days, but some random days we're just not going to be there. So you need to call us."
What the fuck?
Mate, like you just need to call us. And
did you ever go?
I haven't been yet. No.
Oh,
this was yesterday that I called.
wow!
And,
This is a real conversation you have with another human being.
Yeah, I
yesterday.
mean, I'm trying to recall it word for word because it took me aback by how laissez-faire it was. It was just such a casual affair, and the guy who sounded kind of aggressive on the phone when I told him like I'm looking for a sleeve. It's my first tattoo, and I was like a little bit worried. I was like, oh, am I about to get gate kept here? You know, before I can even get through the fucking door. But no, the guy was actually pretty chill, and he was like, yeah, like because I'm pretty open to a lot of concepts. I have a general idea of what colors I'd want to see used, like the contrast between the greens and the oranges, and like having the black as like I guess the base, the contrast against that.
Yeah.
But I said like I'm pretty open to whatever he wants to tattoo on me. If there's something he really wanted to do, as long as I'm cool with it, like I'm down for that as well. And when
so you're just cool with this person randomly drawing something on you?
Yeah.
Damn, son.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
Well, I mean, they do sketch it out beforehand. They just don't take ink, you know.
Yeah, but it's just the idea that like I don't know. I always thought like when you go in with the tattoo, you have like a goal, right? Like you have a
okay. Well, here's another thing, because you're talking about this like the concept of how coming into it with a goal. I always thought like, oh, if I get a tattoo, I need it to be meaningful. I need it to fucking mean something to me. And now I've realized, like, actually, I don't. I just need it to look cool. I don't give a fuck if it has any sort of meaning.
That's
like,
pretty good.
At least you're open about that. Yeah.
I literally do not need it to have any sort of meaning. I was thinking originally, I was like, wow, I can have like the lion going across because it like represents where I came from, the national animal of England. But then I'd have like influence it with like Celtic knot designs because of like where I actually came from, where my family came from, like Ireland as well. And then I like faded into like all this other random bullshit that's like related to my life. And then I realized like, actually, I really like the traditional Japanese tattoos. I mean, they look pretty cool.
You just wanted to look cool.
Yeah, I don't really care if it has any sort of meaning.
What would you have to do to get Josh to get a tramp stamp?
So, sorry, go ahead.
You're saying what would you have to give me for me to go and deliberately give myself a tramp stamp? Yeah,
just like a thing, you know, like what, like if you had no is not an answer. Okay.
Well, I disagree. That would be my answer.
No. Hear me out.
Okay.
Like imagine there's a world where no is not an answer. Okay.
I'm being forcibly tattooed against my will.
Sure. And you had to measure what it is that would make you get a tattoo on the small of your back.
I physically resist. I stab the tattoo artist in the eye with whatever implement is next to me.
I'm trying to figure out what it would take to get.
Why do you not like tattoos?
I am very much.
No, go for it.
I'm very much not interested in tattoos, and I don't want them on my body because I don't have anything that I would be happy staying on my body for a long period of time. I think even my own name would piss me off if I had it on there for long enough.
Why would you get your own name tattooed on you?
Okay, in case I forget it. I forget a lot of things.
Narcissistic thing.
Well, no, I'm just saying, like,
imagine tattooing Josh on yourself.
Well, all right. What do I really, really like? I don't know. Fucking. Let's say a Japanese dragon. No, that would bore me about 3 days in, and I'd want to scrape it off.
What about
fox? A fox? No, I get bored of looking at it in the mirror too much, and I'd want.
What about like a TF2 character or something like that?
No, absolutely worse than any of the previous examples as well. No, I'm just not interested in having long-standing reminders of what was important to me when I was younger because I'm an idiot and I'll look back at it.
You said
and
you forget things, so why
no.
wouldn't that serve as a reminder of like good times, like as a memory?
But they wouldn't be good times anymore.
Huh?
Well, no. For example, if I tattooed the foreheads onto my lower back, and when I'm 70 years old, I look in the mirror and I'm like, I can't even remember who these bald fucks were. Why do I have this on my lower back?
Do you remember because of the tattoo?
No, I wouldn't.
There's a lot of life between that and then.
Yeah, I know. And so other things would become more important and it would just be pointless.
Do you not think that we would be friends when we're older?
We barely talk to each other now, GB. We're recovering this podcast as a desperate social anchor to try and stop the ships from tearing away. I know.
I just saw Johnny the other day.
No.
I just saw Johnny the other day.
I am awful at all kinds of social interaction. My life will naturally trend towards hermetism, not by any deliberate measure, just because I'll lose touch with everybody I ever know and love. And that's a flaw of my character, and it's not something I'm going to change, and I am destined to die alone.
I'm very competitive. I am very competitive, and I'm now taking this as a challenge. You have now challenged me to not let you become a hermit.
You'll drive me away.
No, I won't. I actually feel the same way. I will fight for our friendship forever. You understand that shit? Look at me in the eyes. Look at me in the eyes, you bitch.
That's so
I love
fucking
you.
draining.
Okay? I fucking love you, dog.
Draining.
Won't you get bored with no friends?
No, I don't think so.
You don't think you get bored with no social interaction?
I don't. When I had a lot of friends at school, I would deliberately not get in touch with any of them after school because I already had them at school, so they could just stay there.
I actually felt the same way. I didn't bother making friends in high school because I knew I wouldn't be friends with them afterwards.
You guys don't relish human company?
No, I do, but I recognize that it's ephemeral. All things in life are. They have short time spans, and then they will be lost to the wind.
No. There's kind of... No.
That is the saddest thing I've ever heard in my life.
That's the entirety of life.
No.
Dude, like, think about it like this. If that is what you're living for, dog, like, bro, I could show you the world, you know? Like, I could hit you with some Aladdin shit. You know what I mean? I'll take you on a magic carpet ride.
I guess I don't know. I'm very bad at being able to put in the effort to extend it, so I guess I've just learned to deal with it. But more so than that, to get back to the point of tattoos, I don't think there's anything that I would value now that I would still value when I'm older.
That's why I went
fuck
away
the tattoos. I don't give a shit about the tattoos. I just want to know that you'll be my friend if you want to later on when we're like 40 or 50.
Yeah, no. I'm not going to be...
What's the point of this podcast if we're not, the fuck, man?
No, I'm not going to be deliberately opposed to being friends. I'm not going to say I'm deliberately going to isolate myself. I'm saying it will naturally, like the universe, trend towards entropy and loneliness and the death of all things.
God damn. You you are one depressed motherfucker.
No, it's not. It's just
go grow a plant or a tree or some shit.
Yeah, but I'm not bothered by that.
That's not me. That when you get to 60, you're perfectly fine sitting at home doing things, but just not really reaching out to friends, not catching up.
Yeah. I think at that point,
you're happy with that.
At that point, I would probably have a family, and I'd keep in touch with half of them. Is my estimation.
Here's the thing.
Is my estimation. You ain't gonna have anybody. Anyway, go ahead, Johnny.
We make a new podcast. It's me, GB, Bren, and Beth. Naturally, we will always be a part of Sideshow's family.
Yes. See, that is a lot more sensible. No, I'm not saying that it's a. I don't think of it as a negative thing though. There's many people that like all of my college friends. I'm in a WhatsApp group with them, but I don't make the effort to reach out, and they occasionally will send me a message, and I'll sometimes respond. But it's not because I don't like them.
Because of interest? Is that because of interest?
No, I like them a lot. We're in different time zones, though. And if I go back to the UK, I'll hang out with them. But they've just got different life experiences from me now because it's been 3-4 years of us being separated. So I don't know. You have to directly try to connect with people, and that's a lot of effort.
It's important to, though, even if it's a lot of effort. Because I'm the same way, Josh. Because I'm the same way. Because you'll regret it later down the line.
I don't, though. No, I don't. I've lost touch with every best friend I've ever had up until moving to America, and I don't.
Clock's ticking, Bren.
But I don't regret it because I just find new people to hang out with, and that's fun.
Look at Bren's face, dude.
It will get. Listen, I'm telling you, it's gonna get harder. I'm telling you.
But if it does get harder, I will spawn, and then they'll have to stay.
Salmon?
What do you mean spawn?
if it does get harder and I lose touch, I guess I'll just make a family and then they'll be forced to interact with me for at least a while.
I mean, you just assume as well that your kids are gonna want to hang out with you.
Yeah,
when you will be the boomer.
They'll be forced to for the period of time that they are dependent on me. And I don't think I need them for social interaction. It'll just be, reasonably nice to have them hanging around.
Do your parents have many friends?
No.
Hmm.
I don't know what you're
I'm just gonna leave it at that. I'm gonna leave it
solve the problem.
But they're also very happy people. They're
Of course
happy.
they are. Yeah. I mean, but I also think of your dynamic. You have one of the most close-knit family relationships that I know of.
Mm.
In terms of your
that.
relationship with your family. Yeah, it's
like,
quite
aren't you
nice.
super close with your sister and stuff?
But I'm just going to throw this out there. I'm also friends with somebody who has a very similar relationship with his family as you do, but also has a lot of friends as well. You can have both.
But that's way more effort.
It's not! It's no effort!
It is.
What do you mean?
There
It's
is
really
some
not.
level of effort involved.
It's fucking... I don't
I
think
mean,
so. I think...
It's
Just be
effort to-
fucking normal, Josh. Just be normal, okay? Human
being
interactions are
normal
part of life.
stressful.
We are social creatures. That's just a fact.
Shall I tell
okay?
you? I struggle in social interactions sometimes. I've realized that as the more effort is required, the more I struggle. I've been jerked around by some companies recently, and it's made me want to crawl inside myself. I hate any kind of... not just effort, but confrontational effort as well. When you were telling your story about the tattoo person, it's made me think about my own recent struggles with corporate, I don't know, lack of professionalism. Yeah. I don't know whether I've told Jonathan and Alex about this as well, but I've been talking about it on my stream a little bit and giving people the saga as it's gone on. I was playing games with you, Alex, when this happened. We were doing our Cyberpunk roleplay show that we did before, and I spilt beer inside my laptop. This $2,000 laptop that I'd spent a large chunk of my disposable income that I had, that I was going to take to all of the homestands last year and do interviews on and side content and that kind of thing. The homestands got kind of fucked, and so I just have this laptop now that I don't use for that many things, but I spilled a beer inside my laptop, and then because I wanted to continue the show, I kept the laptop on, so all the beer just caramelized and coated the inside components of my laptop, which was a terrible, terrible idea. And so I took it into the local... I just moved to Austin, didn't know anywhere, took a look on Google for computer repair shop and brought it to the closest place I could find that was 5-star rated. Actually, that's not true. I tried to walk to the closest one, and when I walked there, it was somebody's apartment. And I decided I didn't want to drop it off at a random person's apartment. I don't know whether... Is that unusual? I feel like that's very...
For computer
valid.
repair, I mean, I feel like that's one of those businesses that sparked up at the turn of the century, and then everyone kind of just like, you just send it in or you buy a new one on Amazon. So I guess it makes sense that someone would have it in their apartment rather than an actual storefront.
Yeah, I went to an actual storefront place though after I decided not to just throw my $2,000 laptop into someone's bedroom and just have at it, I guess. And so I went to this place, dropped it off, and they said... First of all, the guy lectured me and said, why didn't you bring it in earlier? This is a priority job. You may have damaged the components. And I was like, oh, fuck. All right then. And he said, okay, it's going to be $90 an hour. We're going to see to it shortly. It's a priority job. It'll have to take precedence. So I was like, okay, well, first of all, okay, I'm pissed off that I have left it this late. Maybe I've caused some permanent damage, but at least it'll get seen to quickly because the guy was clearly annoyed that I had left it that long. Wind forward 10 days. I'm like, all right, it's a bit weird. I haven't heard anything back. I'll give him a ring. Ring him up. Say, hey, I dropped off a laptop 10 days ago. How's it going? Any word on what's happening? He goes, oh, yeah, I should probably start that, actually. Hadn't even begun it at that point. I gave it a week, rang back, no reply. Give it another week, rang back. He says, oh, yeah, that. I left it to my assistant to work on. and he isn't in right now, so I don't know if I have any updates. Wait another week, ring back, no answer. Wait another week, ring back, no answer. Wait another week. It's now months after I originally dropped it off. January 16th is when I dropped it off. We're talking, I'm getting deep into April, calling him back. He said, oh, actually, yeah, I've got it right in front of me here. The battery ran out and we can't find the power supply that you dropped off. So we just haven't been working on it for the last couple of months. So I went and picked it up recently. After they had hold of my laptop for 4 months. They had my laptop, and I eventually just went and picked it up, and they lost my power supply. And they didn't offer to replace it. They just said, oh yeah, you can just take back your laptop if you don't want us to keep working on it. So I just took it back.
Keep working on. What were they
weren't
even
working on it. They weren't. They were trying occasionally, hunting through drawers to try and find the power supply whenever I rang them up. But I would ring them up a couple of days, and every time they were like, "Oh no, still haven't found the power supply."
Well,
so they just weren't
working
working
on it. Why would they need
on
the
it.
power supply to open the laptop and clean it?
They didn't. They did try to clean it, but then it hadn't made a difference. And so when they turned it on to check it, it ran out of battery. Which, I don't know how the fuck that happened, because I gave it to them on full battery and it has like 7 hours of battery life. So I don't know what the fuck they were doing on it. They were gaming on it or something.
Well, I mean, if they had waited a long time.
7 hours? You don't need 7 hours to try and...
No, the battery naturally dies over time.
Yeah. Yeah,
So,
very
like,
possible
yeah.
that occurred. So in the end, they just couldn't turn it on to test it, so they hadn't bothered fixing it anymore.
Well,
Did they charge you money?
No, they didn't charge me money, but they also lost my fucking $100
Okay.
power supply. So in the end, I was down $124.
they didn't reimburse you.
No, I probably could have asked them, but I didn't want to. I didn't want to have to chase
that
them up
makes
every
me
week for the money.
That makes me angry.
Yeah.
We need to go down to that shop.
Also, I bought a chair, and I bought that at the end of January, and they still haven't sent it. And
what kind of chair? Like one of those
Herman Miller.
Herman Millers. Yeah, no, that's a common thing, honestly.
Yeah. They said it'll ship in mid-July.
Yeah.
If I still want to keep
the
the order
start of
going.
the pandemic, I tried to order a Herman Miller. It was impossible. They were back ordered because once everyone went work from home,
Yeah.
Uh-oh.
like all those just got bought up
okay.
immediately. So I ended up going to this web. Did I die?
No, you're back. You're back.
You're back now.
Okay,
You're back now.
sorry. Hotel Wi-Fi. What are you gonna do? So anyway, Herman Miller chairs were back ordered. So then I ended up going to this website called btod.com, where like it literally is a YouTube channel where they just review chairs. It's phenomenal. It's like the best thing. And they had like their own brand of chairs that they said was comparable and that they would get out instantly. So that I ended up ordering that one. That's what I have back in Brooklyn.
Did you like it?
Yeah, that chair was it was pretty solid. I mean, the thing is like for Herman Miller, right? You pay for the brand, you also pay for the look, you know. But like
Look?
yeah, the look of the Herman Miller, like those chairs, that like sleek back look, that's like a pretty sought after look in like Silicon Valley offices and home studios and shit.
It's not worth hundreds of dollars.
I mean, no, I think it is. But I think it is because there are a few things in this world that are more important and worth spending money on, and it's your sneakers, your bed, and your chair. Because think about the amount of time you spend on each of those things.
That's true.
It's good for your back. If you have a good bed, it's good for your back. If you plan on sitting all day working, you want to get a good chair, it's good for your back. If you want to, if you're walking all day, you're on your feet a lot, you got to get comfortable sneakers. If not, guess what fucks up? Your back. So it's worth investing a lot of money into those things and high quality products. But
Agreed.
Josh,
Yeah.
I'm
that's my
angry
TED talk.
You're angry?
on your behalf because you don't. I mean, you sound angry.
No,
but
I'm not
normally
angry.
that anger spurs action. If it was me, I'd be tearing down the fucking walls. Brick and mortar.
I have.
If they lost my fucking battery and didn't work on it for 4 months.
See, I'm not bothered by the battery. The battery is the thing that, like, I expected them to lose that shit with how incompetent they seem. It's not working on it for 4 months. That shit will agitate the fuck out of me.
Ridiculous.
See, the thing
That
is,
is
though,
It's actually ridiculous.
I think you
Yeah.
guys would be more angry if you heard how I talked to them over the phone. Because I am so
Why?
British that I was
were you a gentle
apologizing for
British
being.
person?
Oh, I was
no.
like, sorry for bothering you, but I'm just checking back in on that laptop that you've stolen.
Yeah,
from
I mean
me.
that's what I'm like on the phone as well, though. Like with the tattoo thing, I was like, oh, yep, okay, yeah, no, excellent, yep, okay, that sounds good, yep. But
no, I mean the guy said to me when I came and picked it up, he said, "I'm so embarrassed. I'm so sorry that this happened. This is not normal." And I said to him, "No problem." I mean it doesn't get more stupid than that, does it? But I simply cannot generate anger at being mistreated by a company. I expect things to work, and when they don't work, I'm like, oh, that's a pity. It didn't work. But I don't know. I don't have the expectation of professionalism to the point where it would generate an emotional response ever. I don't know.
You a sociopath?
No. I'm just laid back, I think.
I just want to give Josh a hug. I don't want to talk about this anymore. I just think he's sad. I just want to give him a hug. We're just sitting here for like 30 minutes talking about Josh's flaws as a human. I just want to hug him. He's my friend. I love him. But I want to be friends with him for decades to come.
I don't consider it a flaw. Like, I think the guy... the thing is, he was probably a 60, 65-year-old dude who's like an old chill hippie. And when I went into his place, there was just stuff everywhere. And I kind of knew that I was just giving it to someone it's his hobby on the side to make a bit of money. And also there was a winter storm that happened in Austin that apparently hit him pretty badly. And he had like his power cut out. And so he's just an old man sat there freezing in his house. He's got better shit to worry about than where he put my fucking power supply. And I can afford to buy a new one anyway. And he probably can't afford to reimburse me. So whatever, I'll give him a pass, you know?
Bren, what are you doing?
I'm turning my light off. I think there's thunder going on. You get the live view of the nature cam.
That's not... I mean, I don't know what that's a live view of, but that's not a live view of nature.
Yeah, I mean, that just looks like a webcam.
Wait.
Or like a lens.
There was a little bit of light in there.
But don't you guys live right next to each other?
Yeah, but I don't like looking out the windows.
Josh, there's so many questions. So many questions.
No, I do. I'm trolling. I've got bright lights on in my room. I can't see outside. And I've got headphones on, so I couldn't tell it was thundering.
I'm pretty sure it's thunder. What, you saw that?
Yes, yeah.
Yeah, Bren, we totally did.
I have, in fact, seen weather before, though, so it doesn't particularly impress me.
Oh, there it is.
Oh, I actually saw that in the corner of the screen. I saw that. Yeah. Yeah, but here's the thing, Bren. We're an audio podcast as well, so none of this shit matters. I hope you know that.
It's cute that you think this is getting uploaded onto Spotify and podcast
should
services.
We do that? I mean, I guess so, right? That's
definitely. We will. Don't worry. I'll get onto that. I'll get onto that.
When are you gonna get onto that, Josh?
As soon as this finishes, it's getting uploaded immediately.
Do you swear on my life that you do that?
I swear on your life and everyone you love.
Wow. Okay. I trust you. If you get it up, that's dude, and I will never question you ever again.
Yep. Otherwise, everyone you love and yourself will all perish in fire.
What if you actually do? Yeah.
At least that has some gravity to it, you know, and you not saying everyone you love, because at least that wouldn't be as big as major as we've just learned.
No. You've misunderstood. I do, and did love those people that I've lost touch with. Just
Yeah,
I mean,
people just grow. People just grow.
I'm looking on the doc, and there's a thing that I don't know if I put. It said "Mom during wedding day." Oh, I remember that one. War with the cockroaches. Oh yeah, I remember that one too. But I don't remember poop soup. What's poop soup?
GB, you wrote it. None of us can.
I know. I'm trying to remember what story in my life was about poop soup. You know, I'm having a hard time with that.
Yeah, I don't know.
I do remember the war with the cockroaches, though. That shit got wild. I actually, just a side note, just to kind of put a bow on that story, I ended up doing this thing that I almost think might be cockroach genocide. I killed a lot of them, obviously, you know, because my building was infested. And then I got this thing online that like you put in key areas where the roaches are. It's like this little disc, and it has this like weird pill at the top, and you crack the pill, and then the liquid falls onto the disc. It's like cotton fabric and stuff, and you post it wherever like the cockroaches are, and it basically prevents them from having children. And they can't like, you know, spawn more eggs and stuff. And I'm like, but that, I mean, I committed a crime. I'm almost certain I did, because they never came back. So like, and I was seeing them fucking walking around looking all disheveled and shit, because they couldn't give birth, because they were giving birth to God knows what abomination, and then they all just died. So yeah, that was crime. I mean, it had to have been in their kingdom.
Of course,
you know,
yeah.
In the cockroach kingdom.
I have only seen a cockroach a handful of times, and I've seen them a lot since we moved here.
Oh, really?
Have you seen the small ones or the water bugs? The big ones.
The big ones.
The big boys. They're like
Austin,
this big.
Texas has a ton of bugs. I watched a hornet kill a spider outside my window the other day.
Oh, that sounds awesome.
It was a hornet like this. Hold on, how do I give you some?
It's like a murder hornet.
Like it was about the width of this beer can.
The width of the beer can.
Yep, like this big.
The width, but like not.
Oh Jesus! Okay. I thought you meant it had the same width as the beer can's width. I thought you meant the hornet was as girthy as the beer can.
Wait, what? You mean like that?
Yeah, I thought you meant that the hornet was as girthy as a beer can.
No,
then you better run.
The length of it was like the width of this beer can. So it's like that. This big bug. And this spider, well, it's dead now, but it was living in the corner of my windowsill, and I got a little sneak preview of like nature. I get to see it like firsthand, the cycle of life, because it built its nest, and it would trap bugs, it would trap flies, and it would eat them, and I'd see it wrap it up and eat them. And I was like, oh, that's kind of morbid. And I'd watch that, and then one day I'm just sat here, and I see this fat fucking hornet just home in on it, and it just ripped it into twain. It was fucking wild. Yeah, Texas got a lot of bugs.
Hornets eat spiders and stuff?
I don't know.
Or do they just fight?
I mean, it literally just
he like stole his girlfriend or some shit like that. You know,
no, I don't think I would. I don't.
Well, his caterpillar girlfriend, and he was like, "Hey yo,
in Texas.
Hey yo, fuck you, Sam."
I like Sam that your understanding of nature appears to come from nursery rhyme books. Where the entirety of the bug kingdom just proliferates with each other. What would the crossover of a hornet and a caterpillar be? Oh yeah. No, it'd be like A Bug's Life. You know what I mean? When like all the bugs or Ants. That movie Ants with Woody. But the movie Ants only has ants. They don't crossbreed between.
No, there were other bugs in it. There were other bugs in it. But like I don't remember the other bugs like fucking and stuff. But I do know.
I don't think they put that in a PG movie.
Yeah, I think it was the grasshoppers. They were like grasshoppers every day. I mean, you had to assume that they were having sex somehow. You know.
I don't think I did when I was a kid. I don't think I ever asked that question. How did the ants proliferate? How do ants spawn?
Yeah, I don't know how they do either, but I'm assuming, you know, the ant puts his ant pee into the ant.
No, I mean, there's a queen ant. There's a queen ant, and I think she lays eggs.
Doesn't she like select guards? Or something?
Yeah, I don't know how the hierarchy works. I just know how to kill them.
Yeah, because the queen eats them, right? Or like bites their heads off.
Are you fucking making shit up?
No, the queen like attacks the
I think you're thinking of spiders.
No, I'm almost certain it's the queen
no,
ants.
It's mantis, praying mantis. Are you thinking of mantis?
Oh yeah, I was thinking of the
bite the head off their lovers.
Yeah. They bite the head off the lovers. Yeah, that's the one. That's how it feels to be married.
Listen to how
so long.
Listen to how nuts this is. Once a queen ant mates, they never mate again. Instead of repetitively mating in order to procreate, the queen ant stores the male's sperm in a specialized pouch until such time as she opens the pouch and allows sperm to fertilize the eggs she produces. So they only need to copulate once, and then they just keep their own little sperm banks.
Yeah, I feel like that's
Wow.
good for the queen, but bad for the male ants.
But they
Poor
don't-
guys. They're just trying to.
What animals fuck for pleasure?
Dolphins, bonobos.
Dolphins and humans, isn't it?
Bonobos definitely fuck for pleasure.
Don't
bonobos?
monkeys too? Don't they?
Do
They
they?
also fuck for pleasure? No.
I believe so.
What animals fuck for
You could
pleasure?
just put have sex. I think you'd find more scientific responses with mate for pleasure rather than just putting fuck into
Hello.
Google.
In this study, our study aims to define which animals fuck for pleasure.
I actually would watch the shit out of that documentary though. Like that'd be great.
I googled it and found an article, and the title is "Do monkeys have orgasms?"
Yo, I just had deja vu right now.
Yeah,
Right.
because we always talk about fucking monkeys and AI.
No.
Shit like this.
I legit had deja vu because I'm looking at our screen right now, and for some reason, Bren's background and then the topic that we're talking about. I just had crazy deja vu. It was a fucking glitch in the Matrix.
Very possibly. We didn't
It
live
is.
in these places last time we did an episode. We still lived in
know.
Los Angeles.
All four of us. Sorry, because there's 4 of us. All 4 of us are in completely different locations. The last time that we recorded, even though I still live in Brooklyn.
Next time we record, we'll also be in different locations as well.
No, we're gonna record again. Okay. Anyway,
10 years
what
from now.
animals? What animals? Shag for pleasure.
Okay, bonobos, for example, the so-called hippie apes, are known for same-sex interactions and for interactions between mature individuals and sub-adults or juveniles. But you don't need to be a bonobo to enjoy non-conceptive sex.
Thought that was going in the
White-faced-
wrong direction.
Yeah.
White-faced capuchin monkeys do it too. In both species, primatologists Joseph Manson, Susan Perry, and Amy Parrish, we all know them,
Yeah.
found that the females' solicitation of males was decoupled from. I don't know what the fuck this means. In other words, they had plenty of sex even when pregnancy was impossible. Okay.
Right.
So it seems like some primates.
Yeah.
Apparently spotted hyenas, goats, and sheep like to perform oral sex.
Oral.
Really?
Yeah.
I'm not sure. I know that this is going to sound silly, but I'm not sure I would trust a goat with oral sex if I was another goat, because they eat anything. They literally eat anything.
Maybe.
If you
And
give
guess
them,
what? And guess what? They eating that booty. They eating that penis. They eating that vajay. They going in. You know what I mean? They
but
love it.
I
Maybe they have
wouldn't-
very durable genitals.
Oh, what? Durable enough to get a goat chewing on them and you feel fine afterwards? Those are beyond durable. Those just
Some
simply
humans into that, Josh.
I don't want to doubt that because people are into the most horrific of shit. But I doubt there's many people into people chewing on their cock with the molars.
If you're into people chewing on your cock, write a comment.
Yeah, sure.
Leave us a comment, and
Yeah.
we'll find out.
I mean, goats
Imagine
and
if
sheep
this
just
is the
have
episode
molars
that-
everywhere.
Yeah, that's true. Hold on, let
You were-
me read more into this.
You were gonna say if this
article.
was the episode that got us canceled, because I'm
no,
pretty
just
sure.
a fuck ton of views. Just imagine like 100K people. Just
I mean,
what if we became
keep
like we got a
imagining, man.
niche in like that kind of. I'm not even gonna make. I was going to say like that kind of.
hey, I
What,
want to.
into the goat fucking audience.
Well,
Is
there we
that
go.
our
He's
niche?
gone and done it, hasn't
Like
he?
every now and then I drift into kink talk. And maybe we
Sorry,
can get a
that is
niche
beyond kink talk. That is just
Illegal talk.
yeah.
there. It's not
yeah.
illegal talk. I mean,
Yeah,
some
is it?
people-
That
Is
is
it illegal?
illegal talk.
It is illegal, right?
What?
It
Of
is
course
illegal.
it is.
What? You're talking about fucking animals? I'm not talking about fucking animals. I'm talking about people chewing genitals.
Oh, you're talking about other humans chewing other people's
Yeah.
How the
genitals.
fuck did you
Okay.
get there?
I mean,
Yeah,
that's,
I wasn't there with you.
Because
And
we were,
then-
talking.
Let's move on.
About anyway.
I'd like to ask a
Bonobos and
question.
other primates.
Oh god,
Just
damn!
confused.
All right, keep going.
No, that's it. I'm done.
Yeah.
It didn't mention dolphins.
I wanted to ask.
Yeah.
We moved away from Los Angeles at the
Yep.
same time as people have just started getting together again. Everybody in LA has just started getting vaccinated, and I hear that Jonathan whipped up a naughty little raclette recently.
He did.
Uh-huh.
He did. He
What
did.
about it?
Tell
was
me
amazing.
more.
I just hosted a dinner party for friends, you know, that are gonna last me for decades to come, and I figured I'd throw something out for them. I'm just gonna take the piss now forever.
Why was raclette the thing of choice?
I actually grew up eating a lot of raclette.
Really?
Yeah, we used to have our own raclette parties growing up, which
I
sounds,
need to Google this.
which, you know, we didn't even do it the right way. Okay, so before people come into the comment section, I was like, "Oh, fucking Johnny's too bougie, motherfuckers!" Like, no, like we just. Mom was like, "Hey, you put cheese on the thing, it melts, and then you put it on other shit, and it tastes better because there's cheese on it." It's like, okay, Mom, that's really good. So raclette cheese.
Your mom ain't wrong. Your
Had
mom ain't
people
wrong.
over. Yep, had people over. When I was younger, and we just did that, like, you know, a few times a year, maybe like 3-4 times a year. So I was like, you know, me and Stephanie, we love cheese. Love wine and cheese, you know, like salami boards, all that kind of stuff. Like we're okay, we're a bit bougie. But so I was like, we got onto the topic of raclette, and I was like, well, why don't we get a like a raclette party going and invite some friends over? And it's just a fun thing, you know. We haven't seen our friends in a while, so invited Matt, Costa, GB was in town, Mitch couldn't make it, and so yeah, we just had a night, you know, on the rooftop, had some beers in the sunset. Then we had some steak that I had grilled, raclette cheese, veggies. We grilled those as well, and then we had some fucking fantastic dessert as well. I think it was like an upside down, not mango, upside down,
like peach cobbler or some shit.
Yeah, something like that. Yeah, with vanilla ice cream. Oh, it's fucking lit. Great wine with that. I live for that shit. I tell you, fucking two things I love spending money on. One is comfort, like Goldenboy mentioned before, like on like bedding and stuff. Like if you can just buy comfort, like a fantastic couch, a great bed, like whatever. The first thing I bought with my first ever paycheck was new bedding. I'm not kidding you, and I was so happy with it. Like I was ecstatic about it.
Really?
And the second one is just like spending on food and drink, like really good food and drink. Because I just love the experience of like spending time with people, sharing something delicious together, or even like, you know, enjoying my own senses. So yeah, raclette night, it was great. Got to meet up with friends again. I'm really looking forward to do it more with people, my friends in LA.
Dude, it was lit. It was really good. Like, so there were a few things, right? Firstly, Johnny lives in the most beautiful place ever. Like hands down, it is gorgeous. I can't even begin to understand.
Okay, before people think like it's a 3-story house and like there's chandeliers and
Jonathan,
shit. Okay, it's a townhouse, but it's a really cute townhouse.
But it is a 3-story thing. It is
but it's a townhouse.
Sure, but it's a 4-story. You got a rooftop, and then you have 2 other floors, and then the basement. So it's beautiful. Okay, obviously, right. But I do want to be very clear. It was his girlfriend's house, so you know it's like she definitely has excellent taste. But the experience was awesome, and I actually think this is a great thing to talk about because this can segue into more Bren going outside stories. Like we interacted with one another in person, and it was probably one of the first social things I did outside of like seeing my family.
Really?
Because so like I've seen my boys and stuff, and like we went up to like we went out to the Poconos and stuff, which is like a Pennsylvania town over the weekend, and that was really fun. We had a really good time there, drank, chilled out, stuff like that. And that was great. But I don't know, something about this experience just felt like something out of a movie, and I don't know how else to explain it. Like when I got there, right? It's a beautiful neighborhood. Really, you know, you could just tell. Like I took an Uber. I'm talking to Cynthia. I was like, I have no idea where we're going. And right now we're trying to find places to live, me and my roommate, because we don't know where to live in LA because we're moving out there for G4. And you make our way out to where Johnny is, and the neighborhood's gorgeous. I'm confused because I'm like, where is the door? Like the driver dropped me off at the garage door. So I ended up having to walk all the way around and found the front door. And then so I look at the address on my phone and I see it and I'm like, okay. So I look at the number. I'm like, okay. And I'm like, damn, this is like really, really nice. And I don't know if I like hit the wrong address, right? So then I get to the front door and I look and I'm double, triple checking. I'm like, that might be it. And then in Johnny's message said, doors open. This is what he said. Doors open at 6. We'll be serving at 7. It sounded like some real like awesome fancy shit, right? So I'm at the door and I'm so confused because I rang the bell and no one responded. And I'm like, dude, what's going on? So then I like opened the door and the door was open. The front door was open. And I walk in, I was like, oh my God, did I just walk into someone's house? What the fuck? I was like, and I'm Hispanic. Like, I just know that instantly it's going to be some kind of crime. So I was like, I'm just going to close the door real fast. And I wait outside. And then I call Johnny. He doesn't pick up. I was like, oh my God, I just went into someone's home. And then magically, my savior, my giant Swedish savior, opens the door. And then he's like, Jimmy. And then he fucking bear hugs me. And then I get in. And I'm like, oh, wow, this is, really nice little foyer area. So he's like, oh, yeah, come upstairs. We'll, everyone's on the roof. I was like, everyone's on the roof. Get on the roof. So we get upstairs and then like Stephanie's got awesome music playing in the background. The kitchen island's got food all over the place. Like, it's a fucking mood, boys. It's a flat out mood. And it was just the vibe. It was like I was watching like that show This Is Us, you know what I mean, where like they were just doing things and living their life. I don't know, Master of None, God knows what the fuck it was. It was just such a great experience. And then we did all of the tropes that you're supposed to do as you interact with people. We hung out, we drank, we talked about work for a little while, we listened to Matt talk about work for a little while, we listened to Matt talk more about work for a little while, and then we went inside, listened to Matt talk more about work for a little while, and then after that we ate, we talked about what we did during the pandemic. I think there was like vaccine conversations. What did you get? Oh, did it hurt? Blah blah. Like that stuff. But it was a joyous, pleasurable evening. And I had the time of my life. And thank you so much, Johnny, for hosting it.
Wow.
Thank you.
Wow.
It was great. I needed it because I've been depressed. I've been in a bad mood, but after you wake up at 4 a.m. 5 days in a row,
VCT.
you start to question like reality.
Wait, why were you waking up at 4 a.m. for VCT?
We went Pacific time.
We went live at 8. And I had to be there at 5:30 for rehearsal.
Oh my!
And then we did our rehearsal, and then we'd be done around like 6:30, and then I'd have an hour to myself inside of the LCS studio doing nothing. So I just went into the Immortals player room and laid on their couch because they were the only team that had a couch in their room. And then I just watched Arrested Development as I tried to find coffee for an hour. And that was my
like
week.
Hell on earth.
What was that like, working the event alone? Because you were working the event, but you don't. I think one of the worst like positions that you can be put in at the moment, like as broadcast talent, is like anything that heavily relies on in-person interaction, and you're just not going to get it when the work from home.
Yeah,
it's tough.
Yeah.
Like the desk work, I imagine that sucks. Like just from the perspective of like not trying to like step on people's toes when you're talking, but also like when you're hosting as well.
So we had a good system that I had built up. So Riot was cool. Like they gave me a whole TV that was dedicated just to Discord, and they had like just a bullshit Discord account on there that was focused on the analyst chat. So what would happen is, because our segments were like really condensed, if like I wanted to try and make conversation as natural as possible, so I told him, like, if you have something you want to say, drop a period in the chat. I'll see it. I'll see like a period, right? It's like the easiest thing, period, enter, right? And I'll see it, and then I won't say anything. As soon as the person's done talking, you jump in, right? And that was like the best thing that I could do to try and make it feel as natural as possible. It was always going to be a challenge with like, Lothar in Europe and Paper Thin and Seth in Korea, and then, Veli and Cali. And it was always going to be challenging, right? It was like Vansili in Canada. So, it was all over the place. But I think it like worked a little bit. You know, it wasn't the best, but it worked a little bit. And yeah, it was weird. It was weird working it because it also felt doubly weird due to the fact that they were pumping the smog machine inside of the room the whole time.
I quite like that.
I didn't mind it. I didn't mind it toward the end, but in the beginning, the smog machine had a mind of its own. So they would turn the thing on, and it just was like, it's just shooting it out, right? Spitting smog, and then it's just engulfing me. And there was a point in time that the jib guy, he flat out just says, "We can't shoot him. He's covered in smog." So we had to clear the smog all over the place, and then finally we were good. But dude, it was like it definitely. Oh, and I had a really bad headache the first 2 days because of ingesting so much carbon dioxide from the smog. I was fucked. Yeah. So like
odd.
I gave him feedback. You know, feedback literally was, please, less smog. They listened, thankfully, and then you know, it was fine. But
yeah,
it was an experience.
That was all I was thinking was like, well, I don't know. It got me on the train of thought of thinking about broadcast work, especially just anything where you need to talk to other people because. I don't know. When I'm casting with Josh, I mean, for one, I'm casting with Josh, so it's just hell. But
Truth.
the second part of that
What do you mean? You guys look like a great father and son duo.
Yeah.
I know.
All the
outfits. But it's annoying being on someone with someone on broadcast that looks so much older than you. You know, I just can't handle being with Bren all the time, and people are like, "Oh, how's your dad?" And I'm like, "Oh, I don't know. He's not my dad."
But like with casting, we are. It's so easy to just talk over the other person as well. But when you're in person, it just doesn't happen. But like when you're on the desk and there's 4 of you, like, or maybe 3, I don't know, 4, whatever.
It's just 4 total. And then when Wyatt and Ryan Central came on, it was 5 of us. So,
yeah, like that's fucking, I don't know.
That's
I would
tough.
find that so difficult.
Yeah. I mean, breaking the fourth wall, like when I look at the other people on the desk on Overwatch League, like I'm literally just looking at that door. I'm just looking at that door and pretending that they're there. It's like I'm just doing that to make the broadcast look good.
I told him to put a picture of Zoe there. It wouldn't be weird, but like I think, you know, if you just put a picture of Zoe, that could be enough. You know, to like make it seem like you have interaction.
But yeah, like what Brent said, it's just like if you can't read like body language cues or stuff like that, it just becomes a mess where everyone's like, yeah, I'm gonna go, and then
But okay,
I mean, they're fucking, you know, these are not problems, you know. It is what it is, I guess. But I can't wait to get back into a studio.
But you guys live next to each other. Why not just do it together?
Good question.
I feel like that has been asked before.
Extremely good question.
I feel like that's been asked before.
Question.
Because that doesn't make any sense to me. Like you guys are all right next to you both in particular. Maybe because it's not fair for the other ones. Like you guys would just instantly be better, and I don't know if Matt can handle that. So I think maybe that's
not
what
Matt that'd have to worry, is it? He's got no aspirations of greatness.
No, I just like making fun of Matt. But yeah, I don't know.
We have proposed it, and it is in the perpetual corporate machine now. It's into the ether. It's up to, I mean, we just got to leave it up to the corporate gods to see if they will deem it a worthy pursuit.
It's not how the workflow was built, so they would have to do a separate system, especially just for us. And I don't think they see the benefits in the same way because they're fine with. I mean, they've already factored that aspect in. They already expected that was the way it was going to be this year. Because
I just think it's so funny because like you guys are probably like chilling in like, I don't know, whoever's living room, just hanging out before the game start, and then you're like, all right, gotta go to work. Yep, same here. And then you just go to separate rooms, you do the same job, and then you're out. You're like, oh, that was a great game, wasn't it? Oh, really enjoy watching the London Spitfire, you know? And they just keep going. Oh man. That's actually is that's I find that to be hilarious. I think that is, but you know, man, that's just the age of casting. Like what Johnny said, you know, it's not really complaints, you know, like when it's all said and done, I think I'm just glad that we were able to do what we do, you know, from home. Like not a lot of people had the ability to do that.
Sure.
So
yeah.
it's cool, and obviously it'd be great to do this in person, right? But I think it's a fantastic experience.
I need live events again.
Oh yeah,
If
it's
I
so
don't get
much
live,
fun.
I
if
agree
I
with
don't
you.
get
I
live
need it.
events, I am
Did you see-
going back to.
Did you see that Hastro tweeted out, I think it was earlier today, saying, should we bring back the Dallas homestands? Like eye faces or whatever, eye emojis. So, I mean, you don't just randomly post that to blue ball your fans. There must be something in the works of
maybe
like
you do.
wondering whether stuff is opening up.
Maybe Hastro just wanted the likes and the retweets.
Yeah.
You know?
Oh, I
Well,
didn't
Call
see
of Duty
this.
League is
Possibly.
doing in person, and Berlin's more than likely going to be in person. Well, Berlin will be in person for the players. So
Overwatch League is
I
actually
imagine
doing
we're
one
going to be
this
going in person
weekend.
pretty soon.
Overwatch League is doing one this weekend, but in China. The Hangzhou Spark is doing an in-person homestand.
Oh, nice. Okay. I mean, bro, like you could literally watch, the NBA Finals or the NBA playoffs right now. Madison Square Garden, New York City, 15,000 people strong in the building. Like it actually feels super freaking weird that I could look on TV and see over 10,000 people in one building, like in close proximity with one another, cheering and screaming with no mask on. Like I went with my father and my brother. It took them to a Knick game, like before the playoffs started, and it was at 25% capacity. And even that was like a super weird experience. And it was weird for like a lot of reasons because, you're at a basketball game and the hallways are empty. You literally get online for food. It's instantaneous. You get it really fast. But it's just weird. The other day, AEW did Double or Nothing, their pay-per-view. In-person audience, 5,000 people at Daly's Place in Jacksonville, Florida. It just looked weird. And I mean, but at the same time, I'm like, oh, dude, I can't even imagine that fucking atmosphere when you're in that building, people cheering, going crazy. And then you look and then you see the other day that some asshole ran onto the court and tried to attack a player on I think it was the Washington Wizards, or I don't know who it was.
Really?
Yeah. Then there was the guy at the Garden that spit on a basketball player from the Atlanta Hawks. And 50 Cent, and I'm assuming his girlfriend, I'm not too sure who it was, or they maybe weren't related. They were just sitting right next to each other. The man spit over this woman, and it landed on Trae Young on the court. How do you do that? One, how do you even get spit to travel that far? That's impressive. But two, what would possess you to spit on someone because they're on the opposing team? Like, I don't like Trae Young, but I'm never going to spit on the man. The fuck is wrong? And this person had prime tickets too. So clearly they have like a decent job that they can afford that shit. My
Cracking
God.
open another beer. You want to get into the worst aspects of humanity, GB?
Is this Bren went outside and witnessed the worst aspects of humanity story?
I did witness some of the worst aspects of humanity.
Can I just say something positive about live events though before we go?
Yeah.
The last live event I was at, I think, before the pandemic hit, was World Cup 2019. Yeah, and I did the desk with Goldenboy, and Zoe, I think.
Oh my God!
And we had an entire stage for ourselves, and we were doing the red zone thing for the Overwatch World Cup. And I think that might be my favorite live event experience ever, because I didn't get to work the 2018 Grand Finals. But just working in front of a crowd like that, like it, especially BlizzCon as well, that I've like loved since I was like 10 years old. It was like a dream come true. It was amazing. And with the crowd there, like a crowd live event, fans makes like the biggest difference. And it's such a huge, important aspect of this job for me. So I really can't wait to get back and hopefully get out and hopefully not have to do the desk from this room. This room right here, this setup.
Yeah. I don't want to work in esports if there's no live events.
I think that, I mean, that's what Henry G said, right? When he won like commentator of the year last year, and he was like, I'm retiring because like I like online CS was not what I got into this for. And I understand him. Like I get it.
I absolutely empathize with that now, like 2 years in. Well, not even 2 years in, but like a year in.
Yeah. It's hard to like try to convey that idea to someone who's just like, well, it's just video games and you're doing it from home. But it's like, it's about the fans. It's about, being. It's like an experience you're doing together. Even if you don't know the other person, like the fans in the stadium or whatever, like you're sharing that experience, and it's so much more powerful. It's
and like
amazing.
when you get into esports as well. Johnny, you were like presumably went to a lot of the DreamHack events and other shit of that nature.
That's how I discovered esports. I was like in a crowd for like a Dota 1 game. Never played Dota 1 in my life, but the crowd went nuts at like a base race or something, and I was like, I love this. Like I need this, and that's how.
Why
I got
were you
to love
there?
Esports. They had it was the first DreamHack. They had opened that like DreamHack Stadium or whatever. It was like a separate part, like a separate crowd kind of thing. And,
was that a young shipping as well?
Yeah, I was like 10, 11 years old. It was just like an extra room. Like there was like a cinema kind of room where they'd host like presentations and stuff like that, to like big companies or whatever.
That's where they were hosting finals for some of the tournaments, right?
Yeah, and that was the first event I think that I went to that they opened that. And so they had all the finals there. So I watched this was DreamHack Summer 2009, I think. And the Counter-Strike final was between Lemon Dogs and SK Gaming. And Lemon Dogs was like a huge upset team who had gone through the bracket. And it was like consistent of like Get Right, Gox, like a bunch of like Fnatic misfits. It was just like a mixed team. Like a mixed team under like I don't know what was the Overwatch contenders team called? Like Saturday, like last night's leftovers or something like that. It'd be like the equivalent of that. Just like a mixed team of random, good gamers, but still a mix. Versus SK Gaming, which was like the biggest organization at the time. And Lemon Dogs upset SK Gaming in the finals, and the whole thing just blew up. And I was hooked on esports ever since. It was phenomenal. The story, the crowd, it makes all the difference.
Bren, tell me about the worst parts of humanity.
Oh, you want me to tell you?
There you go.
Yeah, sorry, GB, but I desperately need to hear about the worst.
No, go for it. Go for it.
You want me to tell you the worst that I've witnessed so far since going outside?
Yep. The worst and the best.
The best. So here's the thing. The thing that I've missed most about going outside is like talking to people as well, just having conversations. But that also brings out the worst in people as well. Like, for example, do you know when you were saving the crawfish, Josh?
Yes.
Has Beth told you what happened while you were gone?
No.
In the line.
Okay, so you gotta set some kind of scene here.
Yeah, let me give you some context here.
Yeah.
Because I've just dropped the crawfish plot hook and this other business with we were waiting in this queue for pizza. Fucking hell. Where do we begin here? I guess we begin at the beginning of the night, which was we was checking out 6th Street, this notorious location in Austin, like the street where there's just a bunch of bars. Apparently it gets messy.
Place.
Yeah. It was pretty good. But we opened our night out at this bar, and it was pretty chill. And some guy and his girlfriend come up to our table. And I'm all for human interactions. And I like, especially if this guy was drunk, he had a purpose, which was trying to sell us on something. And that's a perfect storm for me to fuck with them. You know what I mean? Like I just wanted to get this guy talking about nonsense. And he comes up to the table and he says, "What is Pythagoras' theorem?" And he fucking throws $1 onto the table for $1. And I can't remember who answered it, but it was A squared plus B squared. Is it Beth?
Yeah.
Yeah. A squared plus B squared equals C squared. So Beth won the $1. And then he started saying, "Have you guys ever had crawfish?" I was like, well, I know what crawfish is. I think I've had it before, actually. But I could tell this guy was shit-faced drunk. And I wanted to see how far it went.
Need a beer.
And I wanted to see how far it went. So I was like, "Oh, crawfish? No." And he was like, "Whoa, bro." This guy's from, by the way, just to set the scene as well, to kind of paint a picture of who this guy was. Baseball cap on backwards. Quite a built guy, frat boy.
Definite frat boy energy.
Yeah, absolute frat boy energy.
His girlfriend was stood next to him with a smile just painted on her face, swaying because she was that drunk. Just swaying.
Yeah.
Okay.
Like Taipei 101 in a big storm.
He's like, oh, bro, you don't know what crawfish is? And I was like, no, I don't know what crawfish is. See, I'm British. I'm from England. I've never seen a crawfish before. He's like, oh. And I'm like, can you show me a picture of a crawfish? I've never seen one before. I don't know what crawfish are. I'm an innocent British guy. I don't know what it is. He's like, yeah, okay. And he whips out his phone. He can barely fucking stand. Pulls out his gallery or whatever it is on the iPhone. Pulls it up. The last picture he had open was a shirtless mirror picture of him.
Yes.
Just there. There. And he reacts like 5 seconds late to it. And I'm like, oh, you're looking pretty big. Oh, you're looking pretty good. And he starts getting flustered. And he's like, oh, and starts trying to swap out of it on his phone. And eventually brings up his story on his Instagram. And he was advertising on his story him selling like crawfish. What is it called, Josh? Like crawfish
broil, I think.
Broil? Like
okay.
And he was selling this at this location, but here's the thing. He was selling us on this. He was like, oh yeah, we've got a crawfish spot. You want to eat crawfish? You come to my place just down the street, like 60 yards down that way. And he points down that way. I'm like, oh, okay, cool. Didn't give us an address. Didn't really explain where it was. And yeah, that was
dude,
just
it's 60 yards down that way. Come on, man, use your brain.
Yeah, but he's so drunk. I mean, what does that even? His
what
understanding of distance is probably miles off.
Well, I don't know. I knew exactly where he was.
That gives you some context for the crawfish. Okay. So now you know the crawfish, and we get into the night, and we're going from bar to bar to bar, and there's crawfish. The first one we discovered a crawfish on the floor walking around. We thought it was a scorpion, and it was. I think there was some drunk girl trying to save it on a pizza plate, wasn't it?
There was something like that. Yeah.
But also, she wanted to save it, but also her friends were dragging her into an Uber, so she didn't save it. She just kind of flipped it on its back and ran away.
Yeah, she literally just flipped it over. She just fucking turtled the crawfish and then left it. So we had to.
What is a crawfish doing on the floor in 6th Street, though?
A fucking good question. Which
a great question.
Was starting to make me a little concerned at this point as well, because if you're running a crawfish establishment, you are buying crawfish and you are killing crawfish, and the only reason that you should be killing crawfish is to turn them into food. I mean, if you're just killing crawfish for the fun of it, that's psychopathic. And if you're killing crawfish, if you're letting crawfish escape from your establishment to run out into the road and slowly die, that is not equally. Killing them to torture them would be even more weird. But that is also... There's something wrong with that, I think. Just letting your prey loose and not giving a fuck about it. So anyway, I was like, oh well, that's kind of shitty, right? That there's this one crawfish that's just hanging around here alive, and it's poor thing. Yeah. But it scuttled away. It was inside a bush, and we were on to the next bar.
And so we thought at the time, we were like, oh, that's weird. That guy was talking to us about crawfish, and there was a crawfish on the floor. But it must have just been a weird coincidence. It must have just been like unaffiliated, nothing related to it. And we went on to the next bar, and we went right down the street, going from bar to bar to bar to bar to bar. And we made our way all the way back as well, like sufficiently drunk at this point.
Oh, we were very drunk at this point.
Go back to the original spot, and this is like multiple hours into the night. And we were back. And what do you know? More fucking crawfish.
More crawfish. Not the same crawfish, because I know you're going to say that. More crawfish. There was at least 2 of them roaming around.
Well, I wasn't going to say that, but...
Wait, on the
it's still weird.
Yes, on the street.
On the street, in the side, coming out of the bushes, many crawfish. Multiple crawfish. And at this point... in my drunk head, it stopped being a strange little quirk of nature, and it's now these things are escaping en masse from a boiling establishment next door that is not holding them properly and is essentially just allowing a significant portion of their crawfish to go to waste. Because if some of them have managed to come out into this patch of bushes, they're probably escaping left, right, and center, and then just dying in various patches, having a miserable
because
existence.
they're not going to survive.
Yeah, exactly. So I started getting really pissed off about this. I was like,
As
well,
you
if they were running a fucking chicken establishment and they had chicken wandering around in the middle of the roads, that would be profoundly unacceptable. And if they were running a burger joint and they had cattle roaming around outside that they weren't looking after, and there was fucking cows in the middle of the road just getting run over left, right, and center, that would be...
I would want to find the place because I knew they'd have fresh animals. Like, it would be fresh meat.
I mean, but also,
okay, all right.
A chicken and a cow is like easier to track than a crawfish.
And that's assuming they have any interest in tracking them. There weren't people out there with bloodhounds like, we've lost a crawfish. We must retrieve it.
No, no one's gonna do that. But like, if it was a chicken or a cow, like if a cow made it to the middle of the street, everyone would see the cow.
Only because it's a threat. Not because people would actively care about it, just because it would be a threat to the populace in terms of people's cars running into it. I think if a chicken managed to escape from a chicken place, no one would give a fuck. They'd just be like, that is really shitty. There's a chicken running around in the street. But they'd still give more of a fuck than if there's crawfish crawling out of the fucking underneath of fences and filtrating back into
So
wildlife.
Where were they coming from? Did you guys crack the puzzle?
It was too much of a coincidence. It was too much of a coincidence. We saw the same guy going up and down that street.
We did. We saw the same person.
You tried to call after him to fucking tell him off, and he was ignoring us. He just ran away.
And Beth told me also to shut up because I was very drunk trying to start a very aggravated conversation with someone I wasn't sure was in charge of the crawfish distribution network in Austin. So anyway, I got a real bee in my bonnet about this and was starting to get really angry about it. I'm not exactly sure why. So I went over to a group of girls that had finished with their pizza, and I asked for their pizza plate in order to go and run off and try and rescue this crawfish. And so I picked
the girl.
Yeah, I picked up I picked up one of the crawfish on the pizza plate. The other one managed to squirrel itself away. I don't know where it went. So God bless it. I hope it had a peaceful existence. And I picked this crawfish up on a plate, and I said, all right, I'm taking this to the river. And so I ran down to the river, and so that's like, I don't know, 200 meters away, something like that. I was running around the corner, having a little jog.
200 meters is not around the corner.
I mean, it was a couple of blocks away. Yeah, but it wasn't a large amount of distance.
So you derailed your evening to go down the block.
I left Bren in the queue for pizza. I wasn't going to give up the pizza spot. The spot in the queue.
Yeah, I mean,
but also
we were getting a pizza.
Wyatt ran after me, and also there was 2 other people who were interested in the crawfish that ran after me as well. So I had 4 people in a little crawfish train running after me as I had a live crawfish on a paper plate that had previously had someone else's pizza on it, running towards a tributary to the Colorado River, and. Then when I went to jump into the river and I fell over on my ass and I scratched up all of my back. And as I did so, I flung the crawfish by accident. So I just propelled this crawfish straight into the river. I mean, which is where it belongs. And I checked on it afterwards and it seemed perfectly fine. And it was crawling away to its little freshwater existence. I don't know whether I saved it. I don't know whether it got eaten by a fish or fucking what. But in my drunk head, that was a better existence than getting trodden and prodded at. By drunk people on 6th Street.
Dude, that's crazy. What a tale. That crawfish's story. Like, can you imagine that dude? And then like he gets to his buddies and he's like, "Yo, Steve, you're not gonna believe what happened to me." And then he's like telling them all this stuff.
Incredibly optimistic.
They can't talk. What?
In many ways, GB, I like to think of it as the positive version of Bren's original fish story that he told on this podcast.
Yes. Yeah,
I did not, however, I did not fling the crawfish into a thorny bramble bush, though. At least as far as I'm aware.
But this is just giving you the context of telling you why Josh left. While I was in the queue, this is where I started witnessing the worst aspects of humanity. And I was chatting away with these 2 young ladies, and I was like speaking to them about like 6th Street and everything else. And one of them she's considering moving to Austin. When I was chatting to her and we were talking about it and what she thought about it, and discussing like, oh, I'm just going outside for the first time as well. And like asking what places she'd been to, what she enjoyed, that she'd visited.
Good chatting,
But just
cutting it up, you know,
just literally just having a conversation with strangers, and just enjoying other people's company was the gist of it. And we were waiting in queue for the pizza and everything else. And then as we were having a conversation, still we were talking about random shit. This is the worst aspect of humanity. Some fucking random dude comes up, injects himself, and wedges him into the conversation, and immediately starts complimenting, or not even complimenting, but just outright trying to he tried to force himself into the conversation with her friend as well, being like, "Oh, you a natural redhead," was like his opening chat up line. And immediately I sensed that it was a very comfortable environment of us just waiting for the pizza, and we were just enjoying the night. And immediately I was like, I've seen this happen before, but I was drunk enough this time to confront the guy. So I called him a fucking weirdo, and I doubled down on it, and just literally put him on the spot in front of a lot of people.
Oh no,
which normally I wouldn't do, but he immediately went on a defensive and came at me. But I just doubled down on the logic of it. I was like, so you're telling me you would just inject yourself into people's conversations, that you would just literally make like as well. He was saying, well, what's the problem? What's the problem? I'm just talking. I'm having a conversation. Like, what's the problem? I was like, well, it's weird. Was the gist of it. I was like, it's a fucking weird thing that you're doing right now. Like 3 people having a conversation, and you have just enforced yourself.
Yeah.
You'd force these other people to interact with you as well, and it's just strange. It's just fucking weird. And I told him, and this sounds very much like me, like saying, oh, and then everybody clapped, but it's not. That was just like, it was a dampener to the end of the night in a way as well, because it was a lovely evening of just enjoying, the whatever, drinking,
the
going to
company of
various
others,
bars,
going out, having a good time.
yeah. And then I was reminded of some of the worst aspects of society, which is just men forcing women into these uncomfortable situations like that. And yeah, I mean, it just. Well, I mean, the guy didn't hit me or pull a gun on me, which was a fucking positive. So,
yeah, you never know in Texas.
Yeah, but
highly likely in Texas.
Exactly.
So, yeah.
So I kind of got out of the way of it, and in the end, he scampered off, and then everybody clapped. Yeah, at the end of it. But yeah, that was
So did everyone clap? Like,
no.
Is that legit? Like, okay,
no, but
that'd be cool.
They thanked me, because obviously it was I wasn't so fucking drunk that I wasn't so socially unaware of just the weirdness of the situation that we were in.
But you were drunk enough that you were comfortable to challenge it.
Yes. Yeah. Yeah. Normally I'd be
liquid courage. That liquid courage.
Little beta. Oh, I've unplugged my headphones. Hold on. I was about. A bit, little beta cuckold. Just don't want to go. But no, the liquid courage is in my veins, and man was ready to start a war. Just fucking going at it. But that's the story that I had anyway.
That's good though. That's cool that you did that. That's happened too many times where like you're having a conversation and someone like forces themselves in, drives it their way, and then people just like get off put and then just walk their separate ways.
This
fucking blows.
This is what I'm saying, man. Social interactions, they're a lot of effort.
Josh, we're not getting into your shit right now, okay? I don't feel like it. All right. You have a problem. You have a problem. You need help. All right. We're gonna be here for you, whether you like it or not.
Oh fuck.
I will be here at the end of it all. All right. You are not getting rid of me. Don't you quit on me.
All right. Okay. All right. Well, I mean,
talking going to be retiring in Florida alone by himself. That's not going to be happening. It's not happening.
Talking of quitting on people, we've been live for 1 hour and 40. We should start quitting on people.
That's a good episode. That's a good episode. Yeah. Well, I guess that's where we are. So let's do this. For you guys watching on YouTube, post in the comments if you made it this far. God bless you. Post in the comments what you have done what you did during quarantine. Right? Maybe that's a fun one.
I've spilled beer. I've spilled beer everywhere.
Turn off the PC. I made the same mistake with my laptop.
I have spilled beer everywhere.
Don't let it caramelize.
Right, see ya.
Don't let it caramelize. Also, yeah, that's that. That's our show. Thank you so much for watching. If you want to watch this again, make sure you endlessly harass Josh in his chat so that this way he can actually not be a douche and we can schedule this weekly. Then maybe we can make that happen, right, Josh?
Yeah,
Right, Josh?
yeah. We'll see. We'll see.
Like and subscribe and all that crap. And check us out on Twitter, and we'll see you next time. All right, be safe, everyone, and all the good stuff. All right, peace out, everyone. God, fucking.